Modest Mouse. I don't think it's unfair to say that Float On by Modest Mouse is one of my favorite songs of all time. I feel like my life was changed the first time I heard it, and that it ever charted on the Hot 100 at all was in itself remarkable. I had never listened to Modest Mouse before then, but I knew them by reputation, and I consider them basically the epitome of a band you would never ever hear on the radio ever. But wait, I hear some of you asking, would you really count Modest Mouse as a one-hit wonder? Sure, they only had one song that cracked the Hot 100, but by the same metric, Jimi Hendrix or Frank Zappa would be one-hit wonders. And usually the term signifies not just limited chart success, but also relevance and influence. And Modest Mouse are indie rock legends with tons of fans and critical acclaim out the yin-yang, not to mention several other songs that made it onto the alternative charts. So, given all that, you may ask, is it really fair to call Modest Mouse one-hit wonders? And my answer to that question is no. Yes, today we are not looking at any song that people remember or care about. No, I'm sick of doing those. After all, there is so much weird and wonderful that no one remembers at all. And folks, we got a ripe slice of 70s cheese today. Yes, the Float On we will be covering is not the indie rock song from 2004, but instead the R&B smash from 1977 by, get this, no joke, The Floaters. Yes, The Floaters. I assume in 1977 that wasn't a slang term for an unpleasant surprise in the pool, but trust me, if there was any song that deserved to be accidentally associated with turds, it's this one. There's a reason this one doesn't get played on the oldies stations, and I'm gonna walk you through it. So even if you don't know this one, please keep watching. This is an amazing song. And, well, let's take a look. Alright, already. Yeah, no Modest Mouse episode, deal with it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Emeralds. Yes, before we look at the Floaters, we gotta look at its predecessor with the far less embarrassing name. These are the fabulous Tillman Brothers, Ivory, Abram, Raymond, and Cleophas. Well, we don't have a picture of the last two? Oh, okay, apparently they left the band early on and were replaced by their friend James Mitchell. Darn, I wanted to see what a guy named Cleophas looked like. Anyway, the Detroit Emeralds were formed in the mid-60s, deep in the heart of the Motor City, Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm gonna assume they were just the Emeralds before they moved to Detroit. Now, presumably they moved there in an attempt to get signed by Motown, but they were out of luck because Motown moved to LA shortly thereafter, which left a whole lot of musical talent in the Detroit scene kind of stranded. But there were a few labels left who did try to fill the gap, and one of them was the one the Emeralds got signed to, Westbound Records. Westbound did a lot of impressive work helping to build up funk music, mostly with acts like the Ohio Players and Funkadelic. The Emeralds were a lesser but reliable group who charted on the R&B charts a bunch of times, though on the Hot 100 they never cracked the top 20.
Just put your hand in mine, love me all the time and through, you were plain to see, feel the need,
This is Feel the Need in Me, which is their best remembered song because it was actually a pretty decent sized hit in the UK. And also because of an unauthorized extended remix in the gay disco scene. They didn't see that coming, but internal struggles tore the band apart before they could capitalize on it. So naturally some members started looking for other projects. And they had also started their own nightclub, the Emerald Lounge, and James Mitchell started using it to find talent for a new group, including his brother Paul, and he also wrote a wonderful song for them. In the brief clips I've shown so far, I don't think it really comes across why Float On is so amazing. Well, hold on, I haven't even introduced the members of the band yet. Fellas?
Aquarius. And my name is Riley. Now I like a woman who loves her freedom.
Go on.
And if you fit that description, baby, come with me.
Well, I am a woman who loves her freedom, so I guess I could take your hand, but I love my freedom a little too much to do that.
Take my hand, come with me, baby, to Loveland.
Yes, in case you thought Anchorman was a parody of the 70s, now you know there was, in fact, a time when guys could plausibly say in public, "Let me take you to Loveland." I assume they mean the Loveland Ski Resort in Colorado, which I hear is nice.
I want you to float, float on. Come on.
I'm not sure what floating on has to do with anything. I've read Float On was originally meant to be mostly an instrumental, and the verses were written spontaneously as a last-minute change. So, in its original context, Float On would make sense because the lush orchestra certainly does give off the impression of floating on air. But now, with the verses, it makes it seem like it's telling you that if you didn't like the last guy, well, just float on to the next one, because, yes, all four of them do this.
Libra. And my name is Charles.
Hi, Charles.
Now I like a woman that's quiet.
Shut up, ladies.
A woman who carries herself like Miss Universe.
Yeah, basically it's just this. They're all just basically reading their OkCupid profile at you. Except they only filled out the spaces labeled name, sign, and looking for. And I like that they think there's any difference between them. They're all basically saying the same thing. I also like that they introduce themselves with their zodiac sign before they even tell you their name.
Leo. Now my name is Paul.
I mean, I know there was a running cliche about the Leisure Suit Larrys of the world using "What's your sign?" as a pickup line. I just didn't know that was a real thing that actually happened. Were horoscopes that big back then? Dumb.
Leo. Now my name is Paul. You see, I like all women of the world.
I have no standards.
Come with me, baby, to Loveland.
And when I said they all do the same shtick, that is literally all they do. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. There's no instrumental or solo or bridge or middle eight or anything. It doesn't wear out as quickly as you think, but it does definitely wear out. Did I mention the album version of this is 11 minutes long? Fortunately, they saved the best for last.
Cancer. And my name is Larry.
Hi, Larry.
And I like a woman that loves everything and everybody.
I kinda need a woman who isn't that choosy, you get me? But no, that's not the amazing part. This is what makes Larry my pick.
Take my hand. Let me take you to Loveland. Let me show you how sweet it could be. Sharing your love with Larry. Listen.
I like a woman who is not turned off by when Larry refers to himself in the third person. Oh, Larry. There was also actually a fifth member. Who the hell knows what happened to him? I think I read he was sick. It's a shame. We'll never know what sign he was. Did I mention this hit number 2? And it was number 1 in the UK. Yes, as you can imagine, this was a difficult song to follow up upon. Now, I could sit here and talk about Float On all day. Oh, by the way, did you know Cheech and Chong did a parody called Bloat On?
Hamburger, and my name is Big Boy, and I love a hamburger that's nice and juicy, a hamburger that gets on everything and everybody.
It's an easy song to parody. But I am obligated to cover the rest of their career, so here is their follow-up. A cover of blue-eyed soul legend Dusty Springfield's You Don't Have to Say You Love Me.
You said you would always stay.
Now, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me is a classic, tragic love song about wanting more but settling for less, where the singer pledges her undying loyalty even as she accepts the disappointment of knowing that her feelings are no longer shared and she'll have to be satisfied with scraps. And though Miss Springfield could be very subtle and sultry and understated, as you can tell, this is a very big, showy, almost operatic song. In fact, it was originally in Italian and was translated into English for Dusty. So it's a big song that needs a very powerful force behind it, which is why both Cher and Elvis took a stab at it. This is not a song to be covered lightly. Let's see how the Floaters tackle it.
Baby, you know I can't believe that you're not here.
Ah yes, I see they've added the old embarrassing spoken monologue.
I've got to find you. Wherever you are, I want you to come back. I need you, baby.
I always said that Boyz II Men took this trope to the very pinnacle of humiliating hilarity, but this is up there.
When I said, girl, I need you.
There we go, straight into the falsetto.
You don't have to say you love me, but just be close at hand.
I think my love of Prince may have kind of ruined this kind of singing for me.
Got to not talk dirty, baby.
When I hear this falsetto, I only hear an oversexed horn dog. That could just be hindsight talking. There's a way to do this voice right, I'm sure. It's just not whatever Aquarius is doing there.
Left alone with just a memory.
This scraped onto the R&B charts, but that was pretty much the last time anyone heard anything from the Floaters. They got flushed, you might say. The Floaters released 2 more albums in the 70s and another in 1981 where they apparently acquired a female member, Capricorn, and her name was Sugar. But none of them ever really got anywhere. It may just have been an overcrowded market. I've said this before, but the 70s did not lack for good soul music. If you like any of the Floaters songs, you could find 50 songs at least as good released that same week. It may also be that funk and disco was taken over there at the end of the 70s, so more old school soul like the Floaters are getting kind of squeezed out. Now they did try their hand at disco on their second album, but it didn't really take. And they also tried their hand at funk.
I've been speaking right into that meaning.
But yeah, this is just a weak ripoff of Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground, so it didn't take either. Yeah, I didn't really find a lot of things worth exploring there, so instead I'd like to share with you another parody, this time from the original non-Muppet cast members of Sesame Street.
Hi, this is Gordon speaking, and I just love a number that's the same as my finger. You see, I've got 5 fingers on this hand, that's 5.
Oh, the only thing it's missing is Mr. Hooper.
1, 2, 3, 4, but if you love me more, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Float On has not aged well. Well, I say it hasn't aged well, but I don't know if it was taken all that seriously even in 1977. Their other songs were far less embarrassing, but this one is definitely the most interesting and fun to listen to. And I'll say this too, even though Float On is a phenomenally silly song and definitely not something you want to hear very often, I do prefer its type of faux smooth, cheeseball, loverman shtick to the more modern R&B guys who are just douchebags. I might put on a neon aquamarine tux and try it myself. Gemini. And my name's Todd. And I like a woman who doesn't care what I look like and is okay with me never leaving the house. And if you fit that description, baby, well, email me. I never set up a public email. I should get on that.
Float on, girl.